How amazing is that new open?
That is so good.
That looks good. That looks good. Yeah, welcome back to Whether or Not. After a little bit of a hiatus, we are back, and I think we are better than ever.
Yeah, brighter than ever, too.
Yeah.
A lighter color, a new scheme. Everything's going to be kind of, I think, a little bit more put together, maybe.
A little more put together, and if you're unfamiliar with Whether or Not, this is going to be an all-digital, all-weather show, but a little bit of not weather, kind of, that's the or not part. We're going to have a little more fun with this. We're also going to get a lot more geeky on the show than what we have time to do on air, on television.
If you watched this in the past, all your favorite segments are here. There's more segments to come, including Friday Happy Hour, which we'll talk about, of course, for tomorrow. I guess we should start with the first alert.
The first alert, of course, and that first alert is a Sunday soaker coming up on the way. We had that little rainmaker come through Wednesday. Yeah, this one coming through on Sunday, going to feature a whole lot more rain and likely quite a bit of steady rain. We may have some dry time very early in the day Sunday, but notice, I think once everybody's getting out of church, it's raining, and look at those colors showing up there. It's probably raining pretty good all the way through the evening. Not really a severe threat, but certainly some downpours.
Yeah, certainly going to be the best way to describe it, disgusting. As we go into your Sunday, I think you can go around if you need to get some stuff done. Valentine's Day looks fine, but yeah, Sunday is the day where widespread showers are going to be around. So here's how we go through the weekend. Today we were in the mid-50s, generally speaking. Tomorrow you're waking up, we're going to be in the 30s. A little bit cooler. Tomorrow is actually the coolest day for your Friday of the week. And then the weekend, kind of a mixed bag, depending on what you're expecting or wanting for those plans.
Yeah, for Saturday, for your date night Saturday, it's going to be clouding up through the day, but any rain going to hold off. So no issues for Valentine's Day on Saturday, but again, Sunday, pretty much a washout, but at least it's a mild washout. We're talking only rain, no ice, no snow talk. Temperatures up into the 60s, so kind of a mild rain, and well, we kind of need it. Hoping for a good inch or so for most of the area.
Yeah, that will continue Sunday night, and of course even Monday. I think some of those showers still linger. The exact timing of that will work out as we get a little bit closer, but obviously stay updated with us on the First Alert Weather app as we go through the weekend and kind of plan your Sunday accordingly. All right, check this out as we take you through. We've been talking, I will never get tired of that. How bad has this winter been? Because you hear it a lot, man, January felt like a year. How bad has it truly been in standards for Myrtle Beach?
Yeah, so this is really cool. This is something that's kind of been making the rounds on weather Twitter. It is the Accumulated Winter Season Severity Index. This is the part of Whether or Not we said we were going to geek out about. This is it. It basically measures how mild or how severe a winter is. Here's the important part, relative to the local climate. It's based on the intensity and persistence of cold weather, the amount of snow, how long snow stays on the ground. But the most important part of this is relative to the local climate. So let's talk about our local climate. The last 20 days here in Myrtle Beach, we're still tired.
I am. I think we all are. And it's to the point of, what else can we throw in here to make it even more exhausting? 5 inches of snow. We had a glaze of freezing rain the weekend before. Our warm spell were days in the 40s, 16 of them, not to mention the extremely cold nights that set up for the past 20 days.
Yeah, 14 of the last 20 nights have been below freezing. A lot of those way below freezing, down into the low 20s. And then it's unusual if we can get one night in the teens here in the Grand Strand. We've had 3 nights at 19 just in the last 20 days. That makes 4 nights at 19 total for the entire winter season. So by that measure, it's been a pretty rough winter, but let's jump into it as far as the Accumulated Winter Season Severity Index. Extreme. An extreme winter here for Myrtle Beach. But what's kind of cool, somewhere else that's seen extreme, New York City and Orlando. You're thinking Orlando has had an extreme winter? Again, it's all based on the local climate. Orlando obviously hasn't seen snow or freezing rain. What they have seen, though, much like the rest of the eastern half of the U.S., is a really, really long stretch of cold weather. Cold for Orlando, couple of nights down to the 20s. Some hard freezes there in the orange groves.
The iguanas struggling in
iguanas
Florida.
falling out of the trees,
Everybody
no doubt about
freezing up. Chicago, Charlotte, a severe winter. You've had enough winter to certainly remember, but in comparison to standards, yeah, it's bad.
Yeah.
But it's not the worst you've ever seen. That kind of makes sense based off the history. But this is where we kind of flip the script.
Yeah, this is kind of interesting. So Minneapolis, a typically cold, miserably cold and snowy place during the winter, has been miserably cold and snowy, but not really more than average, not really less than average. They're just kind of having a typical Minneapolis
6-7.
winter. But this is where it gets really crazy. Denver, Salt Lake City, begging for snow.
Where you went?
Yeah, begging for snow. Which leads us to this next graphic, which still blows my mind. I'm going to put my glasses back on for this one because that
might be
you can't
graphic
see.
of the year from you.
Yeah, this is good. So this kind of ties into all of it. Myrtle Beach, so far this winter, 5 inches of snow. We typically get 1 inch. Look at the totals across the eastern half of the U.S. Greensboro, 13 inches. New Bern, 15 inches. All of that came 2 weekends ago with the big storm. New York, coming in with 20 above average. Boston have 40-inch season so far. Chicago 32 inches, typically 25. But look out west. We've had almost as much snow in Myrtle Beach as Denver, Colorado has had.
Ugh.
Isn't that insane?
That's crazy. And then you look at some of the deficits. Breckenridge capitalizes on this time of year.
Yeah.
They're well below where they should be. Also Yellowstone.
Yeah, typically I was just out there. Jackson, Wyoming. Typically they're, up over 4 feet of snow so far. They've only had 30. The number that sticks out more than any of them, though, Salt Lake City, Utah.
Yeah.
0.1 inches of snow so far this winter. Typically they are at 3 feet. So it has snowed more this winter in Myrtle Beach and Savannah and Charleston and Tallahassee, Florida, than it has in Salt Lake City, Utah.
And you think about it in comparison to last year.
Yeah.
Some of those same spots across the Gulf Coast and the Southeast winning out compared to some of the places that typically get it. I mean, we have a spot there on the left. We're in Olympic season. Salt Lake City has hosted a Winter Olympics.
Yeah.
They have not even picked up on an inch of snow yet.
Let
that sink in.
The good news is, though, for those West Coast folks who really need the snow there is important for snowmobiling, the tourism industry, skiing, but they also really rely on the winter snowpack for the water resources during the summer. So they need a lot of snow, and the pattern is finally shifting where the East Coast, we're going to get a break over here. They're going to turn a lot colder and a lot stormier, and hopefully can make up a lot of lost ground. In fact, I think Salt Lake City probably picks up their first full inch of snow tonight into this weekend.
Yeah, and it's been one of those weird patterns that's going to flip, but it's also a good reminder as we look back here into today in weather history that we've had systems around this time that are memorable. It doesn't mean that this is out of the ordinary. Weather loves to repeat itself. We said that before. In fact, let's go back to 1973.
Yeah, late January into early February is prime time around here. The 1989 Christmas snowstorm, I think, gets a lot more attention because it was Christmas. But if you're talking severity of snowstorms, widespread nature of snowstorms, nothing tops the blizzard of 1973.
Look at the second stat. That's all you need to know.
Yeah.
All roads, not just back roads, not secondary roads, closed in central South Carolina for 2 to 4 days. 30,000 stranded motorists. And you might be saying, well, why? A ton of snow lined up here. 4 to 8 foot drifts.
Yeah.
We thought the drifts from what we just had were bad.
Yeah.
Imagine even a 4 foot drift.
Right. Yeah, and that was common from the PD all the way back into the Midlands. 300 buildings collapsed under the weight of that snow, along with thousands of carports and awnings. How much snow are you asking?
Oh.
Look at that. Double digits widespread, 10 inches in Myrtle Beach, a foot in Conway, but look at the PD. 17 inches in Florence, that's still their top record. 18 inches in Darlington, still their top record. 16 inches in Columbia, also still their top record. 24 inches, Rimini, South Carolina, not too far from Orangeburg, still to this day holds the record of the most snow from a single snowstorm in the state of South Carolina.
And I'm going to go ahead and say it because I know someone's probably thinking it. Well, we just had that amount here in Myrtle. Look at the large scale severity, double digit. It ranges all the way up from Cape Hatteras, all the way down toward portions of Georgia.
And it actually extended all the way back into southern Alabama and Mississippi. This was a classic deep south snowstorm all the way down into the Florida Panhandle. But just the real estate covered by insanely high snow definitely makes this one of the top snowstorms, winter storms ever in the history of South Carolina.
Yeah, so just a good reminder, it does happen here. Let's also go back to one that maybe might be fresh off of some of the people that have been here a little bit longer. 2014, because you can have snow, but you can also have ice.
Yeah, a big one. This was the second of 2 winter storms that we had within a 3-week stretch here. A crippling ice storm. And again, this one was focused mainly on the eastern Carolinas. Look at Myrtle Beach coming in with almost a ½ inch of ice, 3/4 of an inch of ice coming in for Conway. Marion into Marion County crippled by this ice storm with 1 inch to 1.5 inches of ice. 350,000 South Carolina residents were without power. That was more power outages than what Hurricane Hugo caused. And the amount of tree damage from that ice storm in 2014 on par also with what was left by Hurricane Hugo in 1989.
And just for kind of scale, I know ice is kind of weird when we talk about, ½ an inch of ice. That will shut down a city that is used to winter weather.
Yeah.
So ½ an inch of ice in a city that gets winter weather shut down. Imagine ½ an inch of ice or close to it in an area that doesn't see it.
Yeah.
That's the impact.
My story that I will always tell and always remember about that storm is working all day long. We were getting reports from all over the area of the sleet, of the freezing rain coming down, and then around sunset, we stopped getting anything out of Marion County. No reports, nothing was coming out of Marion County. Didn't really think much of it till the very next morning. Still nothing out of Marion County. Me and George, chief photographer, drove up there and could see why. Once you got north and west of Conway, 100% of the area without power.
Yeah, one of those that they'll remember. Speaking of which, let's continue this, shall we? Let's go to our weather workshop for today because we've already talked about some of those that we've looked back at from the 70s and even 2014. But meteorologist Matt Bullock standing by with a look at the top 5 memorable storms here in the Carolinas.
Today, we're going to talk about the top 5 memorable winter storms across the Grand Strand and the PDD. Number 5 on the list dates back on March 24, 1983, where we had 7 inches of snow in Myrtle Beach, 2 inches of snow in Florence, and a foot of snow in Charlotte. This late snow caused widespread damage for peaches and strawberry crops all across the Palmetto State. Number 4 on the list is another winter storm in the month of March that dates back on March 2nd, 1980, where we had 10 inches of snow in Lumberton, 7 inches of snow in Florence, 5 inches of snow in Myrtle Beach. But if you traveled north, areas like Emerald Isle saw 30 inches of snow. In the Outer Banks, they had 62-mile-per-hour winds that led to snow drifts as high as 8 feet. It remains the biggest snowstorm across the Carolinas in the month of March. Number 3 on the list is a winter storm that I know boss man, chief meteorologist Jamie Arnold knows very well, and that is the ice storm of 2014. And this ice storm not only brought ice, but also brought snow across the PD, 8 inches in Bennettsville, but also brought over 1 inch of ice for northern Horry County, with ice accumulations as high as 1.5 inches in Kingstree. Because of that ice, that caused a lot of tree damage. About $360 million in tree damage. That also left 350,000 South Carolinians without power. Number 2 on the list is known as the Great Southeastern Snowstorm of 1973 on February 9th, where we had 18 inches of snow in Darlington, a foot of snow in Conway, 9.5 inches of snow in Myrtle Beach. We had 8-foot snow drifts on I-95 because we had winds as high as 40 miles per hour that led travelers stranded on I-95. Food and supplies had to be airlifted to families that were snowed in. It remains a big winter storm across the Southeast, and that's why it's called the Great Southeastern Snowstorm of 1973. Number 1 winter storm on the list is, of course, the White Christmas of 1989, where a winter storm dumped 14.5 inches of snow in Loras, Conway, and 13.5 inches of snow in Myrtle Beach. Wilmington saw about 17.5 inches of snow, and areas even south as Tallahassee saw over an inch of snow. Again, we all remember this storm as the Great White Christmas Storm of 1989. You can see that picture by the National Weather Service. So here's that list one more time, the memorable top 5 winter storms. Again, number 5, March 24th, 1983, followed by another winter storm in March on March 2nd, 1980. Number 3 on the list is the ice storm of 2014. Number 2 on the list is the Great Southeastern Snowstorm of 1973. And number 1 on the list for the most memorable winter storm across the Grand Strand, the PED, is a White Christmas of 1989.
And I think we could add a number 6.
Yeah,
for sure. I think number 6 is a perfect spot for the 2 week ago snowstorm.
Yeah, and if you want to, you can even just combine and say back-to-back 5-inch snows.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Part of the Grand Strand with these past 2 years. Always going to enjoy what Matty B has there on those weather workshops.
Yeah.
All right, let's bring it back.
Coast to coast.
Here we go.
Yeah, we take
going to butcher every town name in the United States.
Yeah, this is where we have some fun. And yeah, let's jump into it here. And well, we've got to start with the extremes. Did you look up your facts?
No, not at all. This is my first time I'm seeing this graphic. La Puerta, Texas.
88 degrees. I'm guessing down there near the Rio Grande. And
How do you say the other one?
I'm guessing Indus,
Indus.
Minnesota. That's not too cold.
No, that's not bad.
-8.
8 under. I thought we'd be worse.
Yeah, same.
88.
8 below 0. Not terrible. Not terrible. All right, let's take you into the southeast. This is the Friday forecast. Yeah, it's quiet. It is tranquil for Friday the 13th. Nothing scary about this. Clear skies, a lot of sunshine across the Carolinas down into Florida. Not much going on. A little bit on the cool side, but we'll call it kind of seasonable, though, heading into tomorrow.
Yeah, not bad. 53 in Myrtle Beach, 59 in Columbia. Warm there in Florida, but for them, 77 in Orlando. They'll take that 72 in Mobile. All right, let's continue this up in the Northeast, where we've been dealing with some cooler weather. They'll get some fair weather clouds. Kind of shrink there from the Great Lakes region. You'll notice, though, there aren't going to be a couple snow showers. A little clipper system that's going to be working into New York as we go into Friday night and Saturday. And temperature-wise for the Northeast, not terrible. 32 there in State College, 26 in Binghamton, 29 in Albany, and 34 up in Portland. I think they'll take that.
Yeah, they'll take it after the stretch they've had. I think it's day 18 now. There's been snow on the ground in New York City. They're going to slowly try to get rid of a little bit of it, getting those temperatures back up to 36 heading into tomorrow. Into the upper Midwest we go. Also been kind of a rough couple of weeks from Chicago to Detroit, Grand Rapids, Saginaw into the UP of Michigan, but things are looking a little bit quieter there. Some sunshine, and here as well, just kind of seasonably chilly, especially when you get into northern Michigan. But hey, 43 in Minneapolis, 50 in Chicago. Can't really complain too much about that.
I know Kentucky's excited to be above freezing
Right.
finally. 53 there back home in Louisville. Let's take you, of course, as we go to the southwest. This is usually where we call the snooze alert. Far from that as we continue to deal with snow showers, higher elevations, dealing with snow showers, rain as well. Plenty of clouds, and this is where I think the pattern's going to begin to flip. They'll start to pick up on some of the rain throughout the weekend. In fact, I think it becomes a little bit more active to the north next week. But yeah, plenty of weather, even some thunderstorms there in Texas as we go into Friday afternoon.
And fun fact, that's also the storm system that we'll be dealing with heading into the day on Sunday, coming into the southwest through tomorrow. Temperature-wise, look at Texas.
Ooh.
Yeah, warming up.
Bless
I've got to
you.
sneeze.
First time ever.
All the weather changes. Sorry about that.
You said you hate summer. You're allergic to it, too.
Man, look at that. Look at that. All right, let's take you into Flagstaff, 43 degrees. They'll actually end up getting a little bit of snow there in the mountains around Flagstaff. As we told you back at the beginning of the show, they certainly need it. And same thing as we take you into the northwest, a little bit of a break, but places like Idaho Falls, up into Bozeman, Montana, West Yellowstone, they're quiet for Friday, but looking ahead to some bigger snow coming in as we head into the weekend.
All the big corporate places would call that the atmospheric river's about to come in.
Yeah.
We
Atmospheric
won't,
river,
we won't talk about that yet. 54 in Medford, 62 in Sacramento, 50 in Boise. Still for them, not bad. They will begin to change, and actually colder weather comes in there as we go into next week. But of course, all eyes on that as we get past this upcoming weekend. Of course, it's one of my favorite segments. Let's do our See It, Snap It, Send It. And let's start with, why not, a look back at what we have. This from Jennifer. And what a beautiful view of the snow covering the PD.
Where this is?
I'm pretty sure
this is in the PD.
Florence.
Florence?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. And we got some great. Oh, it's North Myrtle Beach.
Oh, North Myrtle
nice.
Beach.
We got so many great shots from drones of the snow, and there's nothing like seeing a drone shot of our area covered in snow.
It is beautiful.
Yeah.
We had one that looked really similar to this from downtown Florence, from a drone, but it's a different one.
Yeah.
Clearly here, beautiful view, and up there in North Myrtle. What was it, 7, 8 inches
7,
in some
8,
spots?
Yeah, there was quite a
border.
gradient. 3, 4, 5 here on the South Strand. I know at my house I was right at 7-ish. Then you get up to Calabash and it was all the way up to a foot. So it certainly was amazing.
Jennifer, thank you for your photo. Let's go from somewhere it was a little bit warmer. Your vacation.
Yeah, look at that. I know. I took this picture. Yeah,
Gosh.
Yeah, my cabin out in the woods. You know, I've always talked about how, when I vacation, I don't want to see anybody. I
Right.
want to be right smack dab in the middle of as much nature as I possibly can. So yeah, a couple of my photos throwing in here from in and around Jackson, Wyoming, Island Park, Idaho, West Yellowstone, Montana, my whole little favorite part of the world.
And if you want to know all about last week, his vacation, everything in between, the stress of winter forecasting, brand new episode of Are You Serious is out.
Yeah, and
Go
some
listen to it.
fun behind the scenes story of just how stressful that week or two was between snowstorms and vacations and getting out of Myrtle Beach after a snowstorm.
One of my favorites that we've done in a long time. For all your photos, we'd love to see them, whether it's this weekend, Valentine's Day plans, maybe whatever you're doing here, send us a photo. Scan the QR code. It'll take you to our weather app. Scroll all the way to the bottom. You see it, you snap it, you send it to us. And I always like to say we might just show it here on Whether or Not. It feels like the training wheels are off and we're back.
Yeah, we're back. Let's talk about what we're talking about tomorrow.
Yeah, let's do it.
Cluster of earthquakes down in the low country. That's not even on the list, but we've had 3 more earthquakes in the last 24 hours. So I'm adding that.
Okay.
We're bringing back Friday happy hour,
Ooh, I like number 2.
Sunday showers, and we're going to do a poll. We're going to start doing polls. What is your relationship status with this winter?
It's complicated.
It's complicated. Yeah. Yeah.
That's what comes to mind. And then Friday happy hour, we have to. Got a couple good moments we could talk about for that. And then I think we just unwind for the week.
Yeah.
Because this would be on 8 p.m. on Friday night.
Yeah.
You know?
Let's chill out.
And we're going to get you going. Of course, we'll talk more about Sunday and next week.
Yeah.
70s.
70s.
Oh,
Yeah. There's your first alert. So there we are. First new episode of Whether or Not. Hope you liked it. It's fun. Do it again.
Well, coming your way. Now enjoy your evening and we'll talk to you tomorrow.